someone who's at the tip of the spear in integrating super apps and travel, Mr. K. Shibata from Line Travel.
No. 2 minutes, Brad? All right.
So Kay, what's up?
Good. It's an exciting time.
Yeah. So you were at the forefront, recently announced, or not relatively recently announced, this relationship with Line to integrate your previous company, or current and previous company, to become the Line Travel super app. So what's actually happening? What's real? What's not real in travel and super apps?
Well, yeah, believe it or not, so we already started generating a lot of travel transactions on our Line app. So for those of you guys actually who based in Thailand, I think the Line app is pretty big. And then the travel transaction is already happening on a Line platform, at least in Japan. After we made our partnerships, literally like 10 months ago. And now we see thousands of the hotels booking, flight bookings happening every single day. And then we've seen a growth 10x over the last 6 months, which is really staggering.
10x. I like things that are 10x.
10x, 6 months.
10x in 6 months. These are astounding numbers in travel. I think this represents just what a big shift the super app model is.
By the way, so my good Chinese friend who may be in this room actually told me that on the WeChat, 100,000 hotel bookings, no, 100,000 flight booking, and 120,000 room nights booking are happening every day. So it's beyond your imagination what's already happening, and then how relevant the super apps to travel.
This was actually 3 days ago when he told you that, so it's actually 10x since then, I am sure. I lost my question. It's good to see me up on the big screen, though.
There you go. Oh, this is a...
Go back. So that was travel and super apps. A lot of people talk about, in the Western world, there is no example of a super app. So is there going to be a super app, outside of Asia sometime soon?
That's one of the most interesting question to me, not only in the travel space, but also the technology space in general. I think that there are some large technology platformers, in my speculation, particularly Google. The Google has a Google Maps. So first of all, think about the definition of a super app. So he actually touched upon a little bit. This app you have to use every day, right? So the touch point of the users is really frequent, really frequent. The Google Maps could be the front runner. And people argue that the Facebook or WhatsApp can be the next super apps. I don't know. I mean, one interesting happened just now, like quite recently, is actually that cryptocurrency payment.
Libra.
That might be kind of the worst monitoring. So they might be, the Facebook and WhatsApp may be able to move ahead.
Let's break these apart, because I think the Facebook thing is a bit embarrassing if you're sitting in this region watching what Facebook's doing. It's a bit embarrassing. I mean, the age of copycat China is over, right? Now it's like copycat America trying to come in and look at what's happening somewhere else and catch up. And I really see what they're doing as showing that they just don't get it. They don't understand it. So I think that's a bit embarrassing. Never going to make it. Google maybe. I think that my problem with all of those Western companies and why they will never be super apps is that their models are kind of tech-based models, trying to minimize kind of feet on the street. And all the organizations that I've seen that have really made it in the super app model are tech data-driven organizations, but they also are not scared to put whatever they need on the street to go make it happen. You don't get this great adoption.
I definitely argue with that, because the Google is a smart company. They actually don't want to talk about they want to become a super apps, because otherwise, the whole GAFTA things being criticized by journalists, society, everyone else. I think so that they don't want to actually show their willingness to become a super app. but I'm sure they have an ambition to become a super app. That's my guess.
What do you guys think? Google as a super app?
No, okay. I lost.
All right, next question, we're drilling down. We went from, what is it? What's happening? Why isn't it happening globally? And now let's talk about travel businesses. Can a travel business become a super app? Can Booking.com become a super app? Can AirAsia, I think AirAsia actually, anyone here from AirAsia? Apologies, but I think AirAsia claims they're a super app or on the way to be a super app. Can a travel business become a super app?
No personal offense on the AirAsia or Booking.com. I don't think so. I don't think that any travel brand can be a super app, because going back to my original point, the super app people have to use every day. Travel, how often people actually travel? Not every day, right? Means people don't use it every day, so there's almost no chance for Booking.com or AirAsia to become a real super app.
Yeah, I mean
That's my.
And the super app model is very horizontal, whereas the travel model tends to be very vertical.
Yes, and so the Booking.com is a great example. So the Booking.com, the strategy they took is actually they don't want to do anything else but the hotels, right? But instead, they expanded geographically. So that's the choice of their strategy. And the super apps is completely opposite. Super apps, you just want to dominate the one area. China is a great example, and then do everything. So we talk about it. I think the super apps is kind of game of a local business.
This is like the quote of the day: super apps are a local business. Why is that?
I think it makes sense that from many point of view, right? China is actually the greatest example. So what's happening in China is actually the users are basically giving up all their data to the platformers and the government, and then instead they are getting all the convenience, right? And then so this is actually one good example that the super app business can be super local and super relevant to the government, society, and it makes sense to actually to probably make a partnership with the local companies. So speed is also another important thing, and then the super apps make sense to dominate in one local market, I think.
It's a good reason why super apps won't easily come out of the Western markets, because they are data-built models, and GDPR is going to be a huge kind of barrier to some company doing what you're seeing WeChat accomplish, right? I think this is going to place those Western economies under big stress as they try to come and compete these kind of fierce control over data and government regulation, whereas in China, it's more regulation by the people, right? You had a term for this. It's data democracy.
Data democracy. So that's one interesting
so I think
yes.
it's really common in China that people are comfortable giving out their data, and if K abuses my data, we and the rest of the community will punish him.
Yep.
I don't need the government to regulate that for me. So I think this is a great point on travel and super apps. So our conclusion: no one will be a travel super app.
No.
They will be a part of a super app platform. Okay.
Hey, Brett and Kay, I just want to jump in. I'm over here. Other side, Brett. So on the theme around travel, and you don't think a travel brand can be a super app. So most tour activity and attraction businesses, they are local businesses. Mm-hmm. Some of them serve locals, especially on the attraction side. But a lot of the tour companies don't. In fact, they have a challenge where they're only serving a customer maybe once. I'm going to go to Hong Kong once or twice, maybe in my life if I'm from the U.S. or so. How do we think about this? It's more to it than just setting up a page and a presence in WeChat. Like, how should we be thinking about this?
It's like the perfect. We didn't actually set this up, but our next section is action plans. So we wanted to talk about, we know Arival is really big on being pragmatic, like, okay, what should I actually do? It's cool, we know about super apps, what to do.
Yeah.
So Kay and I will give you our kind of 4 pieces of advice or so on, if I was you as a tour operator, what would I go and do today?
All right, so one thing about super apps and travel, including tours and activity space, it is still in a very early stage, okay? So WeChat actually started travel services probably a few years ago. Line, we just started last year. So we're going to embrace a lot of different spaces in travel going forward. So at some point, tours and activity attractions will definitely be a part of our services and Line Travel, or WeChat, or any other super apps is going to be, I think.
It's a perfect fit, the geolocation data.
Right. So
that's a part of that super app ecosystem, and in-market activities is a perfect fit.
Yeah. But so having said that, I think the first things we all going to do, next week or so is first you want to start communicating with the users via chat apps. Okay? Email's dead. Email's old. Right?
Email's officially been canceled.
Yeah. So that's you want to change your mentality first. Then second things, maybe you want to actually introduce all those mobile payment system like WeChat Pay, Alipay, Line Pay, because in destination, if you wanted to actually provide the services and then close the business with the users, the payment is always a key, and then that's probably the first step to inch closer to the super apps, I think.
Yeah, I think payment is largely underestimated. And our third piece of advice would be to work with an aggregator that's reaching your target market. So if Klook is crushing it with your kind of target demographic, by all means, go work with Klook. They're going to have a lot of payment options set up that are relevant to the markets they're in and take care of part of the payment for you. But don't outsource all of the payment to them. Be wary of step 2. After your messaging, step 2 is establish your own payment capabilities with any payment service that's relevant with your target markets. So if you're in Thailand and you cannot accept WeChat Pay or Alipay, this should be first go-do tomorrow. And they should be able to show up, scan a barcode, and buy a T-shirt with your logo, just like this one here, in real time on site. And if you provide that, you will drive sales from these demographics. I guarantee it.
But thinking start, it's a services app first, more than a marketing channel. That's a little bit of what I'm hearing. Is that right?
Never wanted to actually make an app, as a tour operators, because the app is actually it works well if the frequency is there, I think. So it's just wasting money if you actually come up with an app. I think it's the mobile browser is the most important platform for tours and activity operators or anyone in this room, I think.
Yeah, so step 1, you're chatting on the platform. Step 2, you're taking payment. Step 3, you're working with aggregators that are already strong in that area. Get your guide, Klook,
Anyone. So
KK
Yep.
And step 4, if you're a larger player or maybe a destination that's trying to promote experiences, then I think you can think about beginning to leverage it as a marketing platform, leverage it as a transaction platform, using things like mini programs.
WeChat mini programs probably included, but not like a standalone app, like a native app. It's definitely not a good idea, I think.
So it sounds like the story of super apps is just getting started. So we're going to have you guys back next year in Bangkok to do this, to do the update.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brett and Kay.
All right.